why your past is not your profit. And the reason I say that, and the reason why this subject is important, is because most women for some reason tend to weigh their worth based on what happened to them in the past. And that's unfortunate because it holds you back in so many little ways. And then you get to that point where you're 40, 50, or 60, and you say to yourself, where has the time gone? And what have I done to keep myself in this same position of struggle? Now, the first thing I want everybody to know, and if you haven't shared the broadcast, make sure you share the broadcast. The first thing I want everybody to know is that you were not created to struggle. You were not put on this earth to struggle. So if you're struggling, that's a problem. If you're struggling mentally, if you're struggling physically, if you're struggling financially, and especially financially. And I'll just tell you a little bit about why I know that a financial struggle is not right. In my 16 years, good afternoon, Miss Joanne, of working at the bank, what I realized is that struggle only applies to certain people. And it's not a white thing and it's not a black thing, it's a knowledge thing. You don't know what you don't know. So, because you don't know, your idea, your book, your ministry, your message is worth 7 figures. We sell out. And I'm going to give you an example. There's not one person under the sound of my voice right now that has not at some point, thank you, Keisha, for sharing. Thank you, Miss Joanne, for sharing, had a 7-figure idea. I want you to say me if you've ever had an idea that you thought was a pretty good idea and you later saw that idea on Home Shopping Network or at Walmart or at Target. And you said to yourself, man, I had that same idea. If that's happened to you before, go ahead and say me in the chat. And the only difference between you and the person that actually did something with the idea is that they believed that their idea was worth it and you didn't. They invested. As a matter of fact, one of my clients has a product that has been on the Home Shopping channel multiple times. And she believed that her product was going to make it. And so she put the time, the energy, the effort, she invested. She didn't take no for an answer. I hear people say all the time, well, I can't afford. And I understand you thinking like that. But the truth of the matter, hey, Tisha, thank you for sharing. The truth of the matter is if you don't figure out how to afford, you'll stay where you are. Sometimes we have to push, regardless as to what that push looks like. And again, I get it, but you're talking to somebody who had to sell plates to put their kids through private school. So forgive me if I don't feel bad for you. You're talking to somebody who had to make gift baskets all year in order to take care of their kids. You see, because I didn't have the help of child support. So all of the things that I had to do in order to take care of me and my family, eventually built my muscle so that I could do this. If you're not pushing through to get what you need, you're not building your muscle, and you're going to stay where you are. Everything is a push. Going to a job is a push. Being married is a push. Being saved is a push. Everything is a push. And according to the word, you not only have not because you ask not, but also you got to speak those things that are not as though they were. So every time you say, I can't afford, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Again, you've got multi-million dollars ideas in you. I did not say one. I said ideas. But are you willing to do what it takes to birth those ideas? All your life, I know you heard. It takes money to make money. What do you think they meant by that? What do you think they meant? It takes money to make money. You don't know how to run a business. And if you don't get help, you never will. So if it means you got to pay for education to run a business, just like you have to pay for an education to go to school, if you don't pay for that education, what makes you think your business is going to make money? It's not. Not the level of money that it could or would or should. Your past is not your profit, but your profit is right here, right now. And if you don't grab it, years are going to pass you by, and you're going to be still trying to do the same thing that you were trying to do 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Your past is not your profit, but your past equips you to generate revenue whenever you're ready. So what does that mean? Number one, coach, you got to stop making excuses. All things are working for your good. Even if you don't think you can overcome, we serve a God that can overcome. If you look at the majority of famous people in history, they all overcame something. They said 3 out of the 7 sharks on Shark Tank are dyslexic. 3 out of 7 multimillionaires with a learning issue. So it's not that you can't, it's that you've not given yourself permission. And until you do 2 things, that's number one, invest in yourself like you invest in everything else. Invest in an education on how to properly run a business. And number 2, stop beating yourself up. Believe in yourself. Do the work. Know that every place you came from before now was to get you right here and right now. So all things are working for your good. Number 2, you can't measure your profit based on the past. Some of the most profitable people in the world had some of the most horrific past. But you're going to have to say to yourself, am I going to live in the past? Or am I going to be profitable in my presence? And you got to make a decision, guys. And guess what? As much as I love you and as much as I'm rooting for you, I can't make your decision for you. And in the time that it makes you takes you to make a decision, I'm still moving forward. In the time it takes you to try to figure it out, I'm still moving forward. Don't let me be on the other side of this retired before you figure out, yes, it's something I need to do. Have a sense of urgency about your profit. Have a sense of urgency about your ability to take care of your 70-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. Have a sense of urgency about getting out of the workforce and working for yourself. Treat it like it's your last meal. Treat it like it's your medicine. Because to a certain extent, it is. Stop thinking that where you are right now is okay, because it's not. And we sit and we watch the Kardashians, and we sit and we watch these celebrities, and we sit and we watch these other people. And does it ever cross your mind that they put their pants on the same way you put your pants on? You should get up angry every morning. You should get up mad that you can't afford to retire your kids, to provide a future for your kids. You should get up angry every morning that you're still going to a job. You should get up every morning saying, I'm not going to rest until I uncover my generational wealth. If you're like me, you grew up in the church. And if you read your Bible, then you know your Bible says you're supposed to have some things. So why don't you have them? Hey, Ingla, my new business owner, why don't you have them? You don't have them not because the world limits you. You don't have them not because you're limited by God. You don't have them because you have limited yourself. You have froze yourself out. You have talked yourself out of your abundance. And until you talk yourself back in and make an investment for your next level, you're going to stay where you are. You can't teach yourself this internet. You can't teach yourself to build your website or what to put on it, what products to create, how much to charge for them. You don't know any of that. So you can either invest in the education or make more mistakes than the education would have cost you in the first place. Because mistakes are going to cost you time. Mistakes are going to cost you frustration. Mistakes are going to cost you giving up on yourself. You don't have the room to make that level of mistakes. If you haven't already scheduled a call, go to bit.ly/Black Girl Profits Call and schedule a call so we can help you get on your path. I can't do it for you. God can't do it for you. All he can do is make the connections available. I told somebody today, I believe in divine connections, and I do. I don't think there's a person under the sound of my voice right now that is not destined to work with me. That's why you're here. How long is it going to take you to figure it out? See, delayed obedience is still disobedience. You know, one thing I learned, there's this book called God's Pocket. It's by Bruce Wilkinson. And he talks about that everything God gives us, he gives to us so that after we handle our generational wealth, then we go on and provide for the community. So everything we have is God's pocket. So God is deliberate about delivering blessings to us. He said, you are blessed so that you may be a blessing. Sometimes we so busy worried about blessing everybody else, we forget that when the chips are down, who's going to bless you. We forget that when it's said and done, who's going to take care of you? How much longer will you work for somebody else? Not realizing that I don't care who you are or what's in your past. If you use what God gave you in your hands, it's going to be enough to save you. And let me tell you, part of this process is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And if you haven't shared this broadcast, make sure you share this broadcast. It was me, and I'm going to tell you my story. It was me at 40 years old asking myself, what could I have done better that I wouldn't be here right now? I said, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I'm not going to keep making the same mistakes. Hello? I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But I got to be honest. They say the truth will set you free. But you got to acknowledge the lie first. And the lie was that my job was holding me back. That was a lie. The lie was that haters were holding me back. That was a lie. The lie was that my husband at the time was holding me back. My kids were holding me back. That was a lie. That was the lie. The truth. Somebody type the truth in the chat. The truth is that I was holding me back. My lack of confidence, my insecurities, my inability to sow a seed in myself, my unwillingness to do something different, me thinking I had all the answers, me thinking that I had arrived by working at this job for somebody else, me thinking that 6 figures was the pinnacle. I was the problem. And when I decided that, number one, I could not do this without expert help. Number two, I did not want to stay another 40 years in the same spot. How does that make you feel? Because I'm going to tell you how it made me feel. From the time I was 30 to the time I was 40, I felt depressed. I felt tired. I questioned God. I would say to myself, this couldn't be it. It's got to be more to it than this. What am I missing? But I would never put that finger back at myself. This was right at the age of the internet. You don't have any excuse. You have access to a worldwide potential audience. You have access to 8 billion people who could at any time buy your stuff. And let me tell you what I know. I know for a fact it ain't the money, because we got programs starting at $59 a month. Now, are you going to get one-on-one access to coach every day for $59 a month? No, you're not. You get what you pay for, but you start somewhere. And at the point where you get to say, I'm going to make some sacrifices so I can have more access, so I can get more knowledge, so I can move faster, that's when you will move. You spend more time dreaming about it than you do doing something about it. All busy ain't good busy. If you're busy running in place, if you're busy doing a bunch of stuff that you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have a strategy, schedule a call. If you don't know how to move yourself to the next level, schedule a call. If you're tired of being where you are, schedule a call. I can't make you want more. One of my favorite stories was the man at the pool of Bethesda. And he had been there 38 years. And when Jesus came, he complained to Jesus that wouldn't nobody help him to the healing waters. Some of y'all are busy complaining about who won't help you. You sit back and watch me build one business. Now you just sit back and watch me build two businesses. I'm about to launch business 3 and 4, and you still sitting in the same spot. And so as the man complained that wouldn't nobody help him to the healing waters, Jesus told that man, pick up your mat and walk. He asked that man the same thing I'm going to ask you today. How long will you lie there? How long will you watch me make money? How many more businesses you got to see me launch before you understand I know what I'm doing? How many more years you going to sit on the sidelines and wish? It's not the money. You got Uber Eats, you got DoorDash. You can literally make money driving around, dropping out food to people's house. Don't lie on the money. It's not the money. You're not ready. It's not the money. $99 a week, too easy to come by. $59 a month, too easy to come by. It's not. You either think you can pull this off by yourself, and if you could, you'd have did it already. Or you're going to let another year pass, another 2 years pass. Then you're going to be like, where's Coach Danielle? I ain't seen her lately. Oh, yeah, she retired. And you still just starting. And you still where you were. And you still giving your best to other people. How long will you lie there? So you can't beat yourself. Here's the problem I have. We spend more time beating ourselves up than we spend fixing the problem. Everybody makes mistakes. One time is a mistake. Over and over, that's a problem. That's a problem. So don't beat yourself up. Change it. Everybody makes mistakes. No, ain't nobody perfect. But one thing I try my hardest not to do is I try my hardest not to make the same mistakes over and over. Not to make the same mistakes repeatedly. Not to look up year over year and be in the same spot. Have I made some mistakes? Absolutely. Have I lost some money? I sure have. But am I in the same spot every week? By all intents and purposes. I move every week, every month, every year. I'm making some kind of movement because I refuse to stifle myself. I refuse to put the brakes on what God is trying to do in my life. I refuse to sit up and sit still and wait on a job to bless me. I refuse to struggle with nickels and dimes when the kingdom has told me I got access to Benjamins. You can have it. You can have the struggle. I don't want no more. You can have it. I said, whatever I got to do to keep myself moving forward, building legacy, creating generational wealth, and staying off a job, I'm willing to do it. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to make the same mistakes I made before. I spent 16 years working a job that wouldn't care if I didn't show up the next day. How long will you lie there? How long will you lie there? The same way people call and ask you for favors, start calling and asking other people for favors. See how quick they disappear out your life. And I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have to feel pressed to schedule a call with me unless you're ready to move. I don't want to talk to anybody else that's still trying to figure out if they want to go on this journey with me. When you call me, I want you to be convicted. I want you to be as sick of sitting on the sidelines as I am of watching you. Stop doing everything but saving yourself. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. It doesn't. At the end of the day, the biggest mistake you could ever make is not propelling yourself forward. Are you going to make mistakes building your business? Absolutely. Is a coach going to eliminate all of those mistakes? Absolutely not. I'm going to help you save you from some of them, but some of them you're still going to have to make. But when it's all said and done, you got to choose how you want your epitaph, how you want your grave marker, how you want your funeral program, how you want your obituary to read. Do you want it to read, she sat still until she couldn't sit no more? Somebody say, wow. Do you want it to read, she worked for somebody else until she couldn't work no more? I know me, I want mine to read that I worked for myself, that I left a legacy for my children, that I changed the world, and I did not let my past dictate my profit. I did not let my past tell me what I was capable of doing. I put my future in the hands of God, and I asked him to bestow upon me everything he promised me. And I didn't hold him back. I didn't tie his hands. I didn't waste my prayers. When I prayed for things and they came to me, I took action on them. We all got to be accountable for what we do and what we don't do in this life, for what we accomplish and what we don't accomplish in this life. I'm going to tell you this and I'm going to close it out. Every accomplishment you get while you're on a job doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the person that owns that business. I'm going to say that again. Every accolade you get at a job belongs to the person that owns that business. It does not belong to you. We got people, you have never built a profitable business. How do you think that you're just going to jump up and build a business that makes money with no help? And until you're willing to invest in the right help, don't hire a coach because she got some pretty shoes on. I see y'all. Y'all be over here, yeah, The last person I hired, they wasn't that good. Why'd you hire them? You got discernment like I got discernment. You got common sense like I got common sense. Stop running around here trying to build a dynasty without wise counsel. It doesn't make sense. And then you wonder why your business ain't making but dimes and nickels. Then you wonder why your business is just a trickle. Then you wonder why you keep having to go to this job day in and day out. Then you wonder. It takes money to make money. You can't do what you've never done without a blueprint. If you would get over yourself and stop blaming yourself for your past mistakes, stop letting your mistakes in the past be an indicator as to what you're worth now. Stop sitting around watching the show. This internet is a show. Some of y'all been on the internet so long, it's a shame you don't know it. And you don't know it because you've been watching the show. You come here and watch me, but you won't go live yourself. You'll leave from here, go watch somebody else. Go watch somebody else. You too busy watching the show. You'll never get a check. You'll never get a check, not your own check. Stop watching the show. Stop watching the show and create the show. Stop watching the show and start selling tickets to the show. Stop watching the show and be the person that people pay to sit in the front row of the show. Stop waiting on God. He already blessed you. I've not seen so many people that need so much help that blame money as the reason they don't get the help they need. But your hair is done, but your shoes are fine. I remember, and this is no lie, when I was building my business, I had one pair of work shoes. For a year, I wore that one pair of work shoes every day. I wore them shoes until my feet hurt. I wore them shoes. It wasn't that I did not have the money to buy more shoes. Number one, I refused to buy anything for a place that was not my long-term goal. I don't know if you hear me or not. I refused to buy another piece of work clothes, another work shoe, another work pants, another work shirt. I took that money. I hired me some help. I built me a team. I built my technology. I created my automation. I didn't care nothing about looking cute at a job that I no longer depended on to promote me. I no longer depended on them to give me an increase. I realized that they didn't have the capacity to pay me what I was worth. Your job does not have the capacity to pay you what you're worth. Your job, somebody say my job in the chat. I want you to type it in. Your job does not have the capacity. Your job can't afford to pay you what you're worth. Your job can't afford the price tag that our creator put on your gifts. Your job can't afford the gifts, the talents, the witty invention, the $1 million ideas. Your job can't afford that. Your job is paying you pennies on the dollar compared to what the creator bestowed in you. Your job is cheating you every day that you go there. Every day that you go, your job is treating you like a sharecropper. And instead of you coming over here and getting your own donkey and getting your own till and getting your own seeds and making it a priority to plant your own land, you run up in that job. And I don't care if you like it or hate it, you do it. I don't care if you like it or hate it. I don't care if you say, oh, I love my job. And I don't care if you say, I hate my job. You do it. You keep going. They got to put you out of there. They got to lay you off. They got to fire you in order to put you out of there. When are you going to choose something different? When are you going to choose to believe something different about yourself? When are you going to choose to redeem what the Creator put in your hand? When you get to heaven, you're not going to be able to say, I was employee of the month. When they crack open the book of life, you're not going to be able to say, I saved them some money in the fourth quarter. When you make it to the promised land, he's going to ask you, what did you do with what I gave you other than build somebody else's dream? Other than create generational wealth for somebody else? Other than go to somebody else's job and make them famous? Your job is for the express purpose of you having the money you need to build your business. That is the only reason your job exists. Your job exists so you can feed your kids in the meantime, so you can have money to hire you some help, and so that eventually you can pack up whatever skills and talents you learn from them and take them on the road. Your job is not a long-term stop. But you can play with it if you want to. You can play with it if you want to. I suggest you schedule a call. But again, don't waste my time and don't waste your breath if you're not ready to make some moves. bit.ly/Black Girl Profits Call. Don't waste my time. My time is valuable. My time is my money. I don't want to get on the phone and me chatter with nobody. Have your money together when you call, whatever your budget is. Because I only want to work. I've earned the right to work with who I want to work with. And I only want to work with people that's serious about moving their needle, that's serious about unlimited income, that's serious about doing whatever it takes to get paid, that's serious about moving right now while there's time and while there's opportunity. 5 years from now, everybody and their mama is going to have an idea for the internet. 5 years from now, everybody and their mama going to be trying to start their own business. You either going to get out here ahead of the pack and get your blessings, or you going to get out here with the pack and get what's left over. There are trends for a reason. I can look at every industry, and the first that got there made the bulk of the money. If you look at the plastic surgery industry, the first plastic surgeons made the bulk of the money. If you look at the Botox industry, the first Botox people made the bulk of the money. While you sitting around trying to figure out how you can afford basic, basic, basic expenses. The world is passing you by. The world is passing you by. How long are you going to lie there? How long are you going to sit? How long are you going to wish and guess and try to figure out? That's your time, not mine. Don't say nobody ever didn't, don't nobody ever tell you. Don't say you didn't get a sign. Don't talk about how you didn't get a message. This is it. And for all of y'all that's going to wake up tomorrow looking for confirmation, for all of y'all that's going to wake up tomorrow and think this was just a dream, for all of y'all that's going to talk yourself out of your next level opportunity, be blessed. Be blessed, because I only want to work with those that believe in the promise that is stored up for them. I only want to work with those who are ready to invest in a next level, to transition out of the foolishness. I only want to work with those who understand your job is paying you pennies on the dollar. I only want to work with those who understand that your mistakes, they're not your money. They're not. They have nothing to do with your here and your now. Your past. Your past is not your profits. As a matter of fact, when Charlie Sheen started acting a fool, he started making more money. You better ask somebody. Hollywood loves drama. You might fool around and take your past and profit from it. But if you don't do anything else, be honest to yourself about why you are still where you are. And it's not because God didn't answer your call. It's because you didn't like what he told you on the phone and you ignored it. You didn't like the way he pointed you and you ignored it. It ain't that God ain't answered your prayers. It's that you ain't followed your instructions. All right, sisters, y'all have a great evening. Make sure you schedule your call only if you're ready to move. Have a great evening. bit.ly/Black Girl Prophets. Call. How long will you lie there? How long?